Hey there, this is Shay Dean with L.A.M.B.S Ministry, and you're watching Your Heart Matters. Today we will be ending our 3-part series on listening. A few months ago, I had the opportunity and extreme blessing of attending a workshop on conversation and classroom instruction. Sometimes workshops are boring to say the least, but this workshop was both informative and eye-opening, mainly because it focused a lot on me as a communicator. I discovered in this conference that most students and people really are one of 4 types of participants in a conversation. 1, they don't listen. 2, they talk too much. 3, they interrupt. Or 4, they don't contribute. We were told to pick which one we were. So I thought and I studied those around me. I found the person I thought would fit in each category based on what I had seen up to that point. But when it came to the not listening, I realized that was me. I learned something at this conference. I'm not a very good listener. This was surprising to me, actually. I've always considered myself good at friendships, and friendships and listening go hand in hand. However, after this conference, I'm beginning to think I have some awesome friends who just listened a lot to me. So when I realized I wasn't such a good listener, I kind of started searching out why. And if I'm not a good listener, who am I not listening to? My family? My children? God? This was like a weight that hit my stomach and my soul. And I began to feel as though I had been blindly walking through, taking for granted those that mean the most. To fix the problem, you have to name the problem. So what are our obstacles to listening? Basically, the way I see it, there are 3 non-listeners. Some people don't listen because they are waiting to respond. We all know someone like this. They are forming their responses as you speak. I have a daughter like that. It never fails. I will be intently telling her something, and I can see it in her eyes. She already has a reply. It drives me crazy. Some people don't listen because they don't think they have the time to listen. They have a million other things on their mind and their plate. I feel like this is the case with my husband sometimes. He's thinking about the 4-wheeler he wants to fix while I am unloading about my day. It's almost like we are having 2 conversations. Some people listen with the intent to fix the problem. My best friend is like this. She is always trying to help me see the other side, and sometimes it keeps me from feeling heard. When I am not listening, I'm thinking an awful lot about me. If I'm focusing on me, I'm missing the blessing of relationship and perhaps being used by the Father. In other words, if you are not listening, you are letting pride get in the way. C.S. Lewis said, "Pride is spiritual cancer. It eats up the very possibility of love, contentment, or even common sense." I could not agree more. If you read the Bible or attend a Sunday morning service, there are countless examples of those who let pride lead them to fall. I think this is where we as believers fail to see the point. We tie pride into big sins and see it as flaunting something we have or something we are. However, that's not necessarily always the case. As I think about myself as a non-listener, most of the time I'm not listening, it's because somewhere I think I'm right. You see, I've walked this or I've walked that. I've lived this hell or that one. I can add or ignore or fix because I have done my time and I know who I am. As a believer, this is not truth. As a believer, this is sin. As a believer, this is pride. I've been working through Proverbs 31 Ministries Experience Guide on Numbers. I've read Numbers recently, but have gleaned more in this walkthrough than I would have thought I could. The other day, the devotion was about Moses. In Numbers 20, it says, "Now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. They quarreled with Moses and said, 'If only we had died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord. Why did you bring the Lord's community into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place? It has no grain or figs, grapevines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink.' Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance to the tent of meeting and fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord said to Moses, 'Take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes, and it will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the community, so they and their livestock can drink.' So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he had commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, 'Listen, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock?' Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank." But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them. I read over this passage quickly and didn't give it much thought, but upon second glance, that is a very sad passage. God gave Moses instructions. He told Moses a very specific way to get water to the Israelites, but Moses veered just a little. He pridefully condemned the Israelites and struck the rock. Because of that, God took away the blessing of walking the Israelites into the land God had given them. Pride is a cancer and it destroys. And if you are not listening, you are letting pride get in the way of your relationships. Moses saw the face of God and he still veered. That means we can too. I challenge you today. Look into your life. Where do you fit? What is your struggle? Where does pride play into that? Don't let pride keep you from your promised land. I hope you've enjoyed this final teaching on listening. And now Stacy and Stephanie are going to join me for our roundtable discussion. Hey there and welcome back. I just finished my teaching on obstacles to listening because we've talked about listening to others, we've talked about listening to God, but sometimes things just get in the way of that. And my main thing when I'm not listening is pride, that is kind of what is getting in my way. I said that, there's different types of non-listeners. Some of us listen with the intent to reply. Some of us just don't listen. Some of us listen with the intent to fix, and how that can get in the way of building our relationships and that type of thing. So in communication, there's 4 types of communicators, basically. There's those who don't listen, which is where I feel like I fall. Those who talk too much, those who interrupt, and those who don't contribute. And in our relationships, in our work environments, and our friendships, all of those can be detrimental to, the health of that relationship. So I want you to think for just a few minutes about where you fall, because I was very convicted about not being a listener. I just feel like and it's not that I talk too much. I feel like a lot of times I'm just kind of giving the look and playing the part when really I'm not all there. So where do you feel like you fall as far as your communication and your relationships with people when you're speaking to them?
I think probably a non-listener. That sounds terrible. But sometimes there's so much going on in my brain. It's not that I intend not to listen. It's just I listen all day long. As a teacher, you're just listening to children and people all day long. And especially when I get home, I just want to decompress and not listen. And my husband, that's when he wants to talk. He has anybody to talk to all day, or he wants to tell me about his day at work. And I just want to tune it out. And that has been a definite conviction for me, and something I've had to intentionally work on to be better at.
That's good.
Y'all can answer this for me.
She talks too much.
There you go. Enough said. Yeah, I talk too much.
Yeah.
And I am, I guess, I interrupt her because I tend to want to, okay, this is going to help you right here. Let me just tell you.
I know what I want to say.
You don't have to explain. I got this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I interrupt and I want to fix and I talk too much. And, yeah, I'm a hot mess.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's really important to know where you stand, especially in relationships, because a lot of times we are struggling in our relationships with others and we don't know why, or, I've heard people say, well, I just want someone to talk to, or I just need a friend, and, they're really hard to talk to, or they're not listening, or, so I just want to encourage you and encourage everybody to just kind of take a self-analysis, look at yourself and see where you fall and think about how to fix that. Pray about how to fix that,
And isn't there a thing called developing listening skills?
Absolutely.
Isn't there lots of skills to it?
Absolutely,
so probably just really, we said last time, eye contact and just really listening and
taking yourself out of the equation.
That's
I
the
think
key.
Is the big thing.
Yes.
Is just knowing that at this moment this is not about you. This is about them.
Matters. Yeah.
And be prayerful, about what you say in response.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slow to
that can be hard.
Good old James.
Yeah. That's right. That's
All right. Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're so glad that you joined us for this series. We think it's important, just as children of God, to just be, as Stephanie said, good ambassadors of Christ and showing others that we love, and listening is one of the best ways to do that. So if you need to get in touch with the ministry, you can go online and check us out at lambsministry.com. And always remember, your heart matters.
If you would like to donate to L.A.M.B.S Ministry, please visit our website, lambsministry.com. All donations are tax deductible and help expand the reach of the ministry. Thank you for your consideration and have a blessed day.